Welcome to the world debut of the Ford F-150 Lobo. It's a brand new sporty street truck that Ford is introducing. So in this video, I want to show you the truck, tell you all the details about it. But to help me do all this, here I have Brian Bell from Ford. Brian, good to see you again.
Nice to see you, Andre.
So I've met you, many years ago.
Oh yeah, long time we worked together.
So introducing different models of trucks, and you kind of been involved with the F-Series and the F-150 for quite some time, right?
I have been, yeah. I go back to, I started on the team in 2007. So
that's been a few years.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
So I wanted to kind of bring you in here because there's some history here, and there's kind of like just a kind of a unique customer maybe for this particular truck, because you have, the F-150 lineup is so humongous, right? There's a lot of different choices.
Oh yeah. We it's important to us when you think about customers, right? We range from that work truck at the bottom end all the way to really ultra premium trucks with Blue Crews that drive themselves and really, really rich leathers, to our off-road Raptors and Tremors, right? To do those crazy capabilities. Well, now we found a new opportunity that we saw customers kind of gravitating to in the market, and we wanted to meet those needs for them.
All right, so let's kind of take a look at this truck. I mean, there's a lot going on here, but let's take a look at the profile just really quick. So the F-150 Lobo is going to be available basically as a crew cab, 4-door with a short bed. That's the only configuration.
That's
right?
correct. Yep, just one configuration for it for the Lobo street truck design.
All right, and it's the most popular probably, right?
Oh yeah, by
in the
far.
market.
By far, yep. The segment, our vehicle line, this is by far the biggest volume.
Why not make it just a 2-door, shorty, I don't know, 2-wheel drive, burn rubber?
Well, when you look at where the customers are and what their needs are, again, because it's all based on the customer for us, right? We've been the leader for 48 years. We've been the leader because we listen to the customers, we react to them, we try to meet their needs. The customers want this sporty look, they want the sporty, the appearance, they want that, the way it drives, it handles, but they need the room, right? That crew cab has become the biggest part of the segment. And so when you really look at it, you say, this is the opportunity to meet most customers' needs.
All right, and then this truck, how does it slot in the lineup? I mean, there's the XL work truck, there's the STX. Yep. This is based on the STX,
yep,
basically.
This is a package. The Lobo's a package on our STX,
Okay.
and so it's for those. We call it the STX, our entry retail vehicle, kind of designed for those customers that want to get into a full-size truck, looking for some of the appearance, some of the functionality. I should say all the functionality, right? All of our trucks tow and haul. And they're looking for a more aggressive price point. So we based the Lobo on that, so we could have a pretty good price in the marketplace for a truck that does this and looks this way.
Over the last 15 years, we have seen this trend in full-size trucks to go into the off-road space. We saw it with the original SVT F-150 Raptor, and many manufacturers are going this way. But not a lot of manufacturers are going towards the street. And that's exactly what this truck is trying to do. The F-150 Lobo is slightly lowered, not on the ground. They kept the front end just as tall as another F-150 STX 4x4 truck. But it's got that vibe and a unique style to it. So it's going to be very interesting to me. How will the customer base, how will you guys react to it? Is this interesting to you? Let me know. First of all, there's a now new bumper, lower section. I can see this big section, also kind of these almost like aerodynamic
so
kind of look and feel to it.
We've got a new bumper fascia on the front, and the fascia actually runs around the side of the truck to actually give it a little bit of a lowered stance, right?
Like a completion,
to make
all the way around.
Goes around to give it that aggressive kind of look going down the road. Plus, we lowered the back end by 2 inches, which we'll see when we get back there.
Yeah.
So it really ties in nicely to give it that really aggressive stance. So it sets it up in the front with this new fascia. The fascia's got some open mesh, a very aggressive look to it, right? It's designed for it. And then above that, you see the new grille and headlight design that goes with it.
All right, I want to turn this on because I haven't seen this type of grille yet on a F-150.
Right, yep, they popped on when you open the door. So yeah, we're really excited about this, right? So this is a unique headlamp for us with white signature lighting in it, and then we tie it into this lighted grille, and you can see how this lighted grille really kind of gives this such a great presence coming down the road. When you see this in your rearview mirror, right, you're going to know what this truck is, and it's going to say, well, that's an aggressive truck, right? That's that's cool, and I want to know what that is.
And it's also noticeable from afar, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yep.
I remember, the original 2010, 2011 F-150 Raptor, right?
Yep.
Those amber markers, right?
Very distinctive.
It was also wider, of course, than a standard F-150,
Right.
but you could see it from a very long distance away.
Yep.
And this kind of reminds me of that too, because it's kind of a distinct look for this truck.
That really did kind of set the Raptor apart, and this is going to do the same for this. People are going to know that this is a Lobo just from that front end appearance.
Okay, and it's also basically expanding the Lobo family of vehicles, right? So Ford introduced the Maverick Lobo, like a year ago-ish or so?
Last
and
summer.
now it's in the market already.
Yep, last summer we brought out the Maverick Lobo to kind of start our kind of that street truck vehicle line, and then we're expanding it with the F-150 Lobo, to kind of build on it for those customers that need a bigger truck, more capability, but still want that aggressive street performance and styling.
Well, when you gotta pop the hood really quick.
Sure, yeah.
Because, so one engine only
Yep,
in this one?
This is only available with our 5-liter V8. Which is what the street truck customers are looking for, right? They want that aggressive V8 sound, growl, and performance. So 400 horsepower, 410 foot-pound of torque. Going to give it that really authentic sound to it, and it's going to drive fantastic for you. We tie that to a dual exhaust system in the back, so that growl is going to be even better. And then we also tie it to our all-wheel drive 4x4 system, so that you've got great traction, if you decide to be a little bit of a hot rod with a street truck.
But this transfer case includes, two-wheel drive, obviously, all-wheel drive, 4 auto,
Yep.
4 high, and 4 low.
That's correct, yep.
So you have all those choices in this
That's correct,
transfer
yep.
case.
All those things that a truck needs with 4 low and 4 high, and then we also give you that all-wheel drive for that all-the-time traction.
Where's the supercharger? Can we put a big Whipple on top of this?
Well, there are customers that do that, and actually our designer planned ahead, so if a customer really wants to, the front fascia actually has extra airflow capability for that. So,
Because Ford Performance has an actual, a supercharger you could select and dealership installed,
Yep.
right?
Yep, Ford Performance has a supercharger you can put on our 5-liter. So
So that expands some options.
it gives you a little bit of performance choices there. Yep.
Let's look at the back, because you were saying basically the front is basically the same height as a STX 4-wheel drive, right?
Correct, yep.
But the rear is lower, so it's got kind of a level look to it, right?
Yep. We've lowered the rear end by 2 inches, which actually levels out the truck. So when you look at the stance, it doesn't have that normal lower front, higher back end. It's very flat. And then you can see now when you tie in those ground effects, the fascia's at the bottom, how it makes it, it gives it that really kind of low, aggressive look.
So I don't know if people kind of notice, but like this piece, right?
Yep.
This piece here are new, and also I believe this piece as well, right?
Yep.
So just kind of the lower fascia here.
Yep.
That's tying in.
Yep. So it helps give it that lower stance, and then we put 22-inch wheels on this with a performance tire, and so it's a really aggressive profile, and it's going to be a really great driving truck with that tire on wheel on it.
I didn't notice. Is this a locking differential too, or?
No, this doesn't have the e-locker,
Okay.
the electronic locking differential on it.
Okay, so it's kind of based on the STX
Yep.
then.
Yep.
You and I were looking at this too, and I realized that the lower bed, it's easier to reach too.
Yeah, you notice it when you've been around the trucks for a while. You notice that 2-inch ground clearance when you walk up to it pretty quickly.
Yeah, for the bed, so you can kind of get in. This is a 5.5-foot box,
Yep.
which is pretty standard. When you see kind of a crew cab, that's the most popular configuration, right?
Yes, yeah.
The way you see this truck, this bed is not lined, but of course you can get it either from the factory or after the fact. It's going to cost you a little bit extra. You can get some other options as well. This truck has a 400-watt outlet here in the bed, which I think is also pretty useful. But this is not like a 2-kilowatt system or anything like that. I always want to see more, because the more power you have, the more tools you can run and the more freedom you have.
You've got your upgraded tail light with the signature lighting in it, and then we've also got the dual exhaust out the back.
And body
out
color
the
bumper, right?
The body color bumper,
Yeah.
front and rear.
So this rear bumper reminds me also of the Tremor. So we recently, for a long-term, one of our long-term trucks is a 2025 F-150 Tremor,
Yep.
and we also got the V8. You know, V8s are kind of almost going away in some ways, but obviously the 5-liter is still available in the lineup, so we kind of wanted to jump on it.
Yeah, V8s are here. There are V8 customers for us, right? We've got a really broad lineup of powertrains because we find customers want a big variation, right? From our 2.7 EcoBoost all the way to our hybrid, right? You'll see, a big variety of powertrains for us. We call it the power of choice. Customer can come in, you can take the choice with the engine you want. Now in this particular truck, we limited it to just the 5-liter because it really fit the market, the image. It's kind of what the customer said they want in this kind of performance-oriented street truck.
All right, let's take a look at the interior.
Sure.
But also, I want to mention capability of this truck, right? Because, yes, the rear end is lowered. So the payload you told me was up to about 1,450.
Yep.
And the towing number is 7,900 pounds.
That's right. So, one of the things we learned, right, Built Ford Tough is core to everything we do, and that's quality, capability, durability. That's how we think of Built Ford Tough, what it means for customers. So when we do these kind of trucks, we don't want to make it a truck that can't do those truck things that customers need, right? We want to be Built Ford Tough. So 7,900 pounds of towing is great for a vehicle like this. It's going to tow your boats, your campers, all those things you need it to do. 1,450 payload, anything you need it to do with your projects that you're going with. So it looks great, it's going to drive great, but it also still functions as a truck for you.
But it's a bit less than some other models. For example, if I got a V8, it's another different configuration, towing maybe a little bit higher, like maybe 10,000 or something like that, or depending on configuration. So this is a little bit more sporty, and because of the suspension, right?
Yep.
Kind of that's the capability of the truck.
But again, like with all of our powertrains, we have such a wide range of capability. We go up to 13,500 pounds of towing. We have over 2,200 pounds of payload. It all depends on the cab, the engine, the box length, right? So the different configurations have different ones, but this is really, really very close to what an STX is going to be, right? We didn't give up much to do that 2-inch lowered rear suspension.
Okay, so now this is basically an STX interior for the most part.
Yep, it is. It follows the STX interior with the stitching and the seat pattern and designs and the functional content that you find in here as well.
Okay, so I noticed kind of this neon color. I call it neon, kind of like yellow.
Yeah, it's a bright green, right? It's a very popular color right now, trending, and so the design team really felt strongly about it. It's been really great for STX, right? We launched it last year, and people really like it. So
this surprised me because column shift. Because I kind of forgot. I used to have an XL F-150 personally several years back. I remember the column shift, but I kind of expected a console shift too. But this is a little bit old school.
So STX is a column shifter with the bucket seats. It gives you a different console with some more space in it. Plus, for this, when we really were putting this truck together, we thought it was a bit old school. Kind of gave some of that a little bit of that retro vibe street truck, right, with that column shifter, almost a little bit of mystique to it. So.
And of course, all F-150s now have digital screens, right? So the cluster, the gauge cluster, and then the center screen.
Yeah, 12-inch digital touchscreen has been really, really popular with people. They love what that screen gives them function-wise, right? It's for your map and for the few controls that you would go in there for, it's really, really functional. At the same time, we've got dual controls for your audio and your climate control, so you don't have to go to the touchscreen for that basic functional stuff.
I found it interesting. Like 2024, you guys did this where all went basically to the same screen sizes, all trim levels. So like when you're buying a work truck like an XL or an STX, you don't feel like shorted. Like, the Lariat customer may be getting a bigger screen than you are. Actually, you're getting the same screen. So
when you're making
that was kind of nice.
Yeah, you're making those series walks, you're looking at that feature content, and it's what do customers want, what do they value, what are they looking for in that vehicle, what makes sense from an engineering standpoint, right? There's a lot of software engineering that goes involved, and so if you do multiple screen sizes, you're doing more engineering work and things. So when we looked at it
economy of scale, kind of.
Yeah, we looked at it all and said, you know what, it just makes sense. Let's just migrate the screens across the whole lineup.
Okay.
Excuse me.
And you have the kind of center console there and storage.
Big storage console, and this also has our console work surface. We fold it down. So if you flip it down, right, We keep our work surface.
That's nice.
So when we researched it, we find a lot of customers actually use laptops, iPads, eat lunch. They work out of their trucks, right? And so we put in a desk for them so they had a place to do that work. They could pull over, grab their lunch, use their equipment at the job site. You could put it out there, right, and do that. So
yeah,
and it's been a really popular feature for us.
And if I jump in, you do have a 400-watt outlet right here.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah.
So
or a 12-volt. I mean, whatever you want.
yeah, and you've got USBs down in the media bin. So.
Yeah, USB-A, USB-C, and this is the transfer case we were talking about, right?
Yes. Yep. 4 auto, 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low.
And if you're curious about when this is going to go on sale, it's going to be in the fall of this year, 2025, as a 2025 model. And according to Ford, it will transition into a 2026 F-150 as well. So that's a little bit of a surprise to me. So both 2025 models and 2026 models of the F-150 Lobo will be there. All right, so how much is the F-150 Lobo? Because it's kind of based on the Crew Cab STX four-wheel drive, like we talked about. But you're adding some features to it, including that transfer case as well.
Right.
And the lights and everything else.
Yeah, the
and
22-inch wheels and the lights and the ground effects, the lowered rear suspension and the transfer case. So it's $4,695 higher than a V8 STX. The MSRP just all in, it'd be $59,995.
That's including destination?
Yep, including the destination delivery charges.
So just under 60 grand.
Yes.
For a truck like this. All right, well, as always, thanks for joining me. Thank you, Brian, for your time.
No,
really
thank you.
It.
Really appreciate you coming out and checking out the Lobo.
Yeah, and let us know what you think in the comments below, and check out also alltfl.com for everything automotive in one place. And I'll see you next time.
Well, Case, my friend, no pain, no gain, right?
That's right. And before we kick off the series, we've got to buy some vehicles. According to the auction, this does run and drive.
This is the ZR2, so it's lifted. It even has KO2s.
Are you ready to hear that noise again?
Yeah.
Well, I just won us a vehicle.
Oh, no.
Yep. Lobo was talking about maybe we should replace this fender. I think we just slam a wood screw into it and call it a day.
Oh, I'm so comfortable under it.
How's your back?
Oh, it's fine. I'm just loving this.